everyone, so today I wanted to do a really highly requested video, and that is how to deal with hair removal. And if you are a hairy person like myself, then you probably had a lot of experiences with hair in different places. Literally, this is kind of embarrassing, but I think I could have a proper beard. I definitely have tried to find the best ways to remove it. I also happen to marry a Portuguese man, and I'm Middle Eastern, so I have a lot of hair and he has no hair. I have more hair on my chest, I think, than he does. So something I will tell you guys before we get started is I have extremely acne prone and very sensitive skin. It is really challenging to remove those hairs specifically, and then also make sure you don't break out with all those issues. I really feel like I've kind of mastered it because I'm almost completely hair free. So the first thing I want to talk about is the face. A lot of people will try to wax the face, and people will try to also thread the face. And I'll tell you guys what I think about threading and waxing, and you guys can choose whether or not you want to, and I'll tell you guys what I use for that too. There's obviously so many different types of wax nowadays. There's like the beads, there's, you know, the honey and sugar wax. There's so many different things you could do. If you're going to wax, you need to know it will cause slight sagginess of the skin, especially on the face. So you want to be really careful with areas that are really sensitive. You know, if you're really young, it's probably going to be okay. But I think once you're kind of like at your late teens, early 20s, I would not recommend waxing. That's also when I think you're most acne prone as well. Your hormones are going all over the place, and that can definitely mess up your hormones. What happens when you put wax on your face too and you kind of like just lift it up is, yes, you're causing the skin to be a little looser, but you're also taking off all of those oils off your skin. So all of those little sebaceous glands that you have that produce oil don't know what to do, and they go crazy and they start producing an insane amount of oil. And a lot of times what can happen after you wax, specifically wax, you can break out into cystic acne. So you'll get like large bumps with a lot of oil underneath, and that's because those glands have just been stripped of all of the moisture. And I've tried to deal with it. You know, I've done witch hazel, different toners, different moisturizers on afterwards, and they lessen, but it's still an issue that is really hard to combat. So if you have any type of acne prone skin, even a tiny bit, I would highly recommend avoiding waxing. Waxing is okay for the body, but waxing for the face, for me, is just like a big no-no. Now with threading. Threading is something that I used to do for the longest time. I used to do it myself, and I'm gonna teach you guys how. This is super ancient. People have been threading for years and years and years and years. Basically, the way threading works is, you know, you kind of wrap the thread in a way to where there are like little grooves that kind of like pull the hairs out of your body. And if you've ever worn any of those, like, you know, those kind of bracelets that have like very close like metal links and they've kind of like pulled at your hair, it's exactly the same thing as threading. It's just kind of a different way that it's wrapped. But threading is really, really great for some areas of the face. I do think that threading, especially when it's done so quickly and the way it pulls the hair so rigorously, what it can do is it can kind of damage the area where the hair follicle is, and then that can get small amounts of oil. So what you'll notice is after you've threaded, and if anybody's done this, they'll notice this, they get small, tiny little whiteheads, and that really has more to do with the hair being pulled so rigorously. So if you are going to thread, I recommend doing it yourself more than going somewhere. I think you have a lot more control. You know, if you ever go to a salon, if you ever do it anywhere, you really want to be very particular with where you do it. The forehead in this area is probably going to be a little bit easier to do. The skin on your body, the skin in different parts of your face are very different. If you have a really nice groovy sideburn like Elvis does, I did, you don't want to do threading over here. You know, you're gonna break out in all these little tiny bumps, and you're gonna have like little tiny pockets of oil and whiteheads. So, you know, you just want to make sure that you can avoid that as much as you can. Now, I'm gonna quickly demonstrate how to thread your face yourself. My aunties taught me how to do this, my dad's sisters. It's kind of funny. It's kind of an interesting way to thread your face yourself, but it works wonders. So I'm gonna show you guys really quickly what to do. I just have a normal piece of thread. This is nothing fancy, just a normal piece of thread. And I'm gonna tie it now on my big toe that is on the chair right here. And I'm just gonna kind of crop over here, and I'm just tying this on my toe. I know this is so weird. Trust me, I'm a professional. And what I'm gonna do now is take the string, and I'm gonna get quite a bit of thread. I can't believe I'm doing this on camera. I never thought I would do this on camera. And so I'm basically taking quite a bit of thread, and I'm gonna put the thread on the other chair. And now what I'm gonna do, this really works, guys. I'm going to take a little bit of spit. And you should only do this on your face. And I'm gonna kind of run it through the thread. And now what I'm doing is I'm pulling the thread on this toe right here. I'm kind of anchoring it. And then I'm pulling with my hand on this thread right here. And now I'm gonna like take my other hand, and cross it over. And I'm gonna just kind of twist to create a little bit of this band here that actually is going to pull the hair. And then once you do that, you place the thread across your chin or wherever it is that you want to go. And you just kind of go back. Ooh. Really works. Ooh. Oh my God, it's so effective.
It's insane. Oh, it works so well. You could do everything. Use thread and move your face. I know this is really weird, guys, but this is probably the only threading that I recommend for the face because it is so gentle. You're doing it yourself. You're really going at a very slow pace versus like threading that can be done in salons. I know it's weird, but hey, we all do weird things when nobody's around. We all pluck weird places when nobody's around. I'm sharing all this weirdness with you guys, but don't make fun of me. This legit is like what they do in very many parts of the world where people have a lot of hair. And that's where I learned it. I learned it from my aunties who are, you know, hairy.
One thing that I love so much, and it's no secret, is shaving my face. I wrote about this on the blog years ago, literally, I think like 7 years ago. And I talked about the fact that Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor used to shave their face. And even as I wrote it, I wasn't sure if it was something that I would ever try. Through that process, I still had a lot of facial hair. I was going through a lot of hormonal changes because I was pregnant at the time. I had a lot of thick stubble here. So I went to a clinic and I was blogging at the time. They offered, you know, me a free laser trial and I really loved it. I wasn't able to go back, but I noticed from the first try that it reduced the hair. And so I waited a little while and then I started going to regular laser hair removal treatments. And I was just so pleased with how much, you know, all of the stubble went away. So I did the laser hair removal before I got pregnant. And then while I was pregnant, I don't think I did as much grooming. And then afterwards, you know, I went back to laser hair removal and I was really, really pleased with the result. However, I didn't feel like they were completely permanent. I definitely feel like sometimes new hairs are growing out. They're really thick. So I finally decided to try dry shaving and I became obsessed with it. Literally, it's one of the best things I've ever done. And when I was doing laser hair removal, it helped me with my sideburns, but I couldn't get rid of any of the hair over here or here and different places. And so I thought I would just try this. And what I noticed is when you dry shave, your hair does not grow back really thick. It actually grows back completely fine. I think even finer than it was before. It also helps exfoliate the skin as well. But you definitely need to get the right razor and you need to use the right amount of pressure because if you press too hard, it can actually give you like slight little cuts in your skin and you don't want that. So I'm just going to demonstrate on my hand really quickly the way to dry shave. You almost like lie it on the skin. It's almost not completely lied flat. It's almost like at a 20-degree angle and you're kind of like just rubbing really, really lightly and just letting it do its thing. And you can see all these little tiny hairs and you can see when I do that, you can just see like all these little hairs just like flying off. It really does help also with any type of issues with ingrowns, dead skin, all of those things. I love shaving my face. I shave every single week now and I'm not afraid to admit it. I do think if you use them really carefully, there's nothing to lose except for your hair. Now I'm at a point where I've kind of maximized my hair removal for my face. So what I do is I kind of shave my face every single Saturday and then I also do use, this is Philips Lumea and you're supposed to use this I think once a month, but I actually use it more. This in comparison in spa treatments, I feel like it is really effective. I feel like it's a pain in the butt for areas that are really large. Like you do not want to use this for your legs and your arms. It's really slow. For small areas like your face, your underarm, your bikini, this is a godsend. Full disclosure, I had bought a Philips Lumea before, loved it, loved using it so much. They did send it to us as well because they knew that I loved it. This is not paid for. This is a full review on all of my hair removal techniques. So there's been no sponsorships in this video other than a free device being sent to the office. The way you use this is you turn it on right here, and depending on how good your pain tolerance is, that kind of determines where you kind of go on this little diagram here. And I always try to go to 3, but most of the time for my face, I feel like I could even go to 4 or 5. It is so good, guys. I'm gonna show you really quickly. So I'm gonna go to 5. What I've noticed, which is really strange, this hurts so bad if you have any hair that's sticking out, so you really do want to freshly shave. But I'm basically gonna go ahead and press this against this area. And they have different type of attachments. There's one general attachment that it comes with, and there's also a bikini, an underarm, and a face one. So I'm gonna use the face one that has the picture of the little face right here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and stick it back on. And I'm gonna press it against this area. Sometimes I don't even change the head, I just use a general one. And I'm just gonna use it there. Doesn't hurt. Sometimes it does. It gets hot. Oh, it was on the lowest. I was wondering why it wasn't hurting. Oh! Don't do it on 5. Ooh, I can smell my hair burning. And I have like no shame. I always use this in front of Chris, like on my face, like while we're watching TV. What's really great is like it's really easy to use, and I've used different hair removal devices. I think I even used the first one that they came out with and I didn't like it. This is the most recent one and I really do like it. I actually bought it at Boots Pharmacy in Dubai and I loved it so much. I think the price too is around $700. The price is kind of high if you're not doing laser hair removal, but if you're doing laser hair removal, this is a much better price. I mean, to do your full body and everything, it could be a few $1,000s and the hair always comes back. I would not recommend it for large areas. For your face, you will love it. For your underarms, really nice. For your bikini, amazing. And nobody's like, you know, nobody's in there. You know, it's a really cool device for some areas, and it is really, really effective. You'll notice after the first time that your hairs are thinner. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We got a lot of requests for our favorite hair removal techniques and what we've used and where we've kind of gotten to the place that we've gotten. So I hope that you guys find this really informative and helpful. And anybody who has any experience with any of these things, please comment down below to let us know, you know, what you like and what you use and what's kind of worked for you. Huge shout out to Roxy Girl, Delilah Pierce, and Dodo Tube. We saw your comments. We love you guys so much. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Please make sure you guys thumbs this video up if you liked it, and subscribe and turn your notifications on because we got a lot of videos coming for you guys. Love you guys so much.